And the one thing about darkness, the one thing about chaos, disorder, dis-ease, the one thing about darkness is it doesn't have a say in the matter. When light shows up, darkness has to flee. But when you look at the beginning of Genesis, so theologians will tell you, many will say that if you study Genesis, you understand the whole Bible. And so we look at the time when God came into the picture, says that his spirit brooded over the darkness. And then there was light, there was lux, there was divine light. And then things came into being. That's when the world came into being. And that darkness, that stands for chaos, that stands for disease, that's entropy, that's a lack of order, that's a lack of light. And so light comes into the picture, and then suddenly we go from a condition of less than divine light, the absence of light, to full lux. Let there be light. And the one thing about darkness, the one thing about chaos, disorder, dis-ease, the one thing about darkness is it doesn't have a say in the matter. When light shows up, darkness has to flee. So let's put this together now. So if somebody comes in and they're in a condition of less than divine light, the divine light of God, that Kairo, that God within, is not able to shine as bright as it's able. And as a result, at a condition of less than divine light in darkness, there's entropy, there's disorder, there's chaos, there's disease. And then we remove that interference to allow full light, full lux, and that light shines and disorder has to flee. Chaos has to flee. Disease has to go because we've made that adjustment. And as you walk in that, it's amazing what can happen. Now, one story as I wrap up. So at the end of a shift, I won't get too deeply into how this moment occurred, but I open up the back door to head out to go home in the back parking lot where my car is. And there's a woman standing there holding her child in her arms. Now, it's not a baby. This is a 7-year-old, and it's from a tall family. So the 7-year-old's about my height because I'm 5'6" with thick socks on. And so, and she's bald and clearly sickly looking and, very skinny and greenish versus a human color. And she says, I've been told by so many people that I need to bring my daughter to see you. They said, don't give up hope until you've seen Dr. Ben. So all I know is I can move the bone and God can do the healing. I suppose I should have been discouraged because that's a pretty tough case. She had stage 4 kidney cancer at 7 years old. I don't know how all this works. I just know there's Kairo. I just know there's God within. Maybe it's better that I don't know how it all works, that I just operate off faith and knowing the power of a chiropractic adjustment to restore Kairo, God within, for the darkness to flee because the light of Christ now shines. That's all I know. And so I'm like, well, let's get her adjusted and let's see this miracle unfold. And that's all that I said. Began to adjust her. They had already sent her home. She was already had home care. They had sent her home to die. It said there's nothing else they can do. But I expected a miracle, not because of my philosophy, because the sky is blue, the grass is green, subluxations kill, but a chiropractic adjustment releases the light. And so as time went on, she was supposed to die within a few weeks. Here we are 6-7 weeks later, and she's doing better. Here we are 90 days later, and she's now walking in. Hair is growing back because, they're not treating her anymore. And she's now actually that at 90 days, she's a little upset because she wants to go back to school. She wants to start riding a bike. In fact, we made a promise at that moment, or I made a promise to her that I'm going to do a triathlon with you, that you're going to get so well, we'll do a triathlon together, because she knew that I was a triathlete at the time. And what I didn't realize is that when you add the power of chiropractic, as we've discussed on this video today, with a vision, if you ever studied anything from Young E. Cho, who had built the biggest church in history, He talked about the fact that once you begin to pray for something, you've established a vision. You're now pregnant with the future. That within you, like a baby being developed over a matter of months, you're now, through faith, creating a future where this vision you've established gets built, created, and comes to pass in a reality. So when we set that out there with the adjustment and that vision, it even accelerated her faith and my faith and the progress and the healing even more. And sure enough, she was running triathlons. She was doing triathlons a year later. And that's the power of chiropractic. Philosophy, sure. Reality, absolutely. The question is whether or not you'll walk in that truth with that faith, and that the belief is not in you, but it's the Chiro, it's the Christ living in people. Bless you all. Remember, with God, all things are possible. And also, remember who you are.